Welcome, Chris. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank
Say
you.
hi. Yeah, I guess we'll start with maybe just tell us a little bit more about you.
My name is Chris. I live in California. I'm a multifamily real estate investor, and I invest in different states across the country and rely on the income from my real estate and the distributions and the buying and selling of real estate to for most of my income. And I'm really happy to be here with Julian, who I have partnered with to do some e-commerce work.
Very cool. Very cool. Cool background, by the way. Congrats on the on all the success.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I guess that's what we're here to talk about today. What made you? If I guess let's start. Very first question. What made you decide to invest with us, with me, with Prospera Partners?
So I was looking for another stream of income in my life. And I have known about e commerce. I've dabbled in e commerce. I've dabbled in FBA and drop shipping a little bit with a partner that I met kind of in a previous life. And so I have a pretty good understanding of how it works. But what I've been looking for is a good, solid partner that I know I could trust to work with and partner up with and run a successful e commerce business. Fortunately, I know Julian, the owner from Prospera, through the multifamily real estate world. And when I found out that he actually had a whole business that he's been building in the e commerce space, I thought that is a worthy conversation for me to pursue. And so, at the end of the day, the short version, I was looking for another income stream besides just my multifamily real estate because in the last year or two, multifamily real estate has not been super cash flow heavy. There hasn't been a lot of distributions. We haven't sold a lot of properties. So I was looking for another solution to add to my income streams in my life.
Yeah, it's been a rough last couple of years for many operators.
Yeah, it has. And so it's hard because I'm looking for another solution that's not tied to real estate. I could go and buy more real estate, but we're all in the same situation right now with high interest rates and all these different details that come in the real estate world. So I knew
Correct.
that e-commerce is not correlated to real estate. And if I could find a trusted partner and we could go run a business, it can be totally separate from my real estate and hopefully be successful whether or not my real estate is being successful or less that year.
So you were already looking for this. You had some experience with similar offers in the past, it sounds like. So how does you're already a part of something similar? How is this different than that previous experience?
So, in my previous experience, we were doing something called FBA, which is where you're
It
essentially
was
buying product first, sending it to Amazon, and they then sell
mm-hmm,
it, and you're hoping to recoup your money. There's generally higher profit margins because you own the product, but
correct.
it's outlying cash up front. And that company was very dependent on my partners. I was a passive investor for more or less. Like I set up my business, my LLCs, and I ran all the credit and I ran all the finances. But my team that I partnered with was running the business, and they did a you know the team that I had before, they did a good job at doing all the work. I was not doing any of the work. But at the end of the day, they ended up not being the best partners, not people I could trust, and I had to back out of that business. So for me, when I partnered with Prospera, it was a very fluid and very simple onboarding process for me. I felt like one, I had an idea of what I was getting myself into a little bit, but two, their team has done all the work for the most part. I had to do some of the business basics, like they can't set up my LLC for me. But once I did that, they're doing all the work and they're just running. I mean, I tend to check in and ask questions, but it's more for me. Like they don't need me to check in and ask questions. They will go forward, and I have found that they just do the work whether I'm checking in or not. And that to me is, if you want a truly passive experience, that's the goal, right? I tend to be someone who likes to track a little bit more on my business, so I'm going to ask some questions, and they're happy to answer, but they certainly have not needed me to do any of the work. And we're already in business just a few short months later after I started my LLC. We're already making sales. Um, One thing I didn't really get into is what I like about Prospera and their model is it's drop shipping. So my previous business, we had to buy the product up front and then sell it to recoup the money and hopefully earn a profit. With Prospera, we do drop shipping where we list products, they sell the products, and then we buy the product to ship to the customer. So the risk is absolutely zero for me. If we list a bunch of products, we could list 1,000 products, and if nobody buys them, I'm not out any money, right? We didn't spend any money on those 1,000 products. But if we list 10 products and they all sell 10 units of each, then I can go and buy the 10 units after we already sold them and ship them. So the risk is low to zero compared to my previous business. And I really like that about this.
Correct. And I was talking with a new prospect, a new partner that wants to onboard, and that was one of his questions. It's like I'm trying to think all the risk factors here, and I keep telling to mitigate, and I have in the contract. It's okay if this doesn't happen. This is how we hedge against this. This is how we hedge against that. And yeah, other than natural disaster destroying our capabilities, I mean, we've mitigated most of the stuff that can go bad. And especially, again, you were doing Amazon FBA. Another problem there being is you were solely focused thus on Amazon. So
And
if
Amazon can withhold payouts, right? Like a big thing is we sell the product and then we rely on Amazon to send us the money that the customer paid Amazon. Well, it should
Mhm.
be every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks. And Amazon at sometimes could hold your cash, your payout for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Oh, there's something to do with returns. So we're going to hold all your money and then eventually send it to you. So you're waiting on Amazon. And that's a risk with any platform, I think, whatever you're selling on. They could change
Correct.
their terms, they could something could go wrong and they don't like your company in that moment and they could hold back the funds. You're always, that's part of the business relationship. So you got to make sure that's up front. Um, there's another risk that the team you partner with, if they don't do a good job fulfilling the orders, then your rankings, your ratings, your client, your customer satisfaction will go down. So that's an important thing, I think, is to find a partner that will run a good business because it's essentially your business that's being run by the team. And Prospera has been doing a good job at that so far.
Correct. And back to that conversation with the new partner we're trying to onboard is the other reason we try to hedge is we're not selling in one sales channel only. So, well, not only do we don't sell on Amazon, but we sell on various other marketplaces. And that's the thing, it's various ones. So if we ever have a problem here, or, if one door closes, we have many other doors to knock. So
Sure.
that's what we've done differently as well in that
And
regard.
I've been really impressed with Prospera because I think most people think e-commerce, they think Shopify and Amazon. And Prospera is like, we have all these other avenues to make you money. And I like that. I
Different
like
sales
the outside
channels,
of the
yeah.
box thinking. I like the feeling of not being limited to Amazon. I have love and hate for Amazon for various reasons. So it's like, hey, let's
A lot
go
of
and
people
sell
do.
on all these different platforms and make money other ways. And I like that.
Yeah. How does this feel different, per se, than other investments opportunities you've considered?
Well, so I invest in real estate mostly, and real estate is heavy cash outlay at the beginning and a long time to see the returns. Whether you're selling a property down the line or waiting for distributions or creating some kind of value add that you'll capitalize on in 3 to 5 to 7 years, this business with e-commerce and drop shipping with Prospera is immediate. It's zero cash outlay in a sense. When you're the operations of the business, there's an upfront fee, but the operations of the business, it's zero. I mean, we list a product, then it sells, the customer sends their payment in, and then we buy the product to ship to them. So it's almost the flip side opposite of real estate in the sense that it's fast, the payouts are immediate, you don't have to wait more than 2 weeks to get paid from the purchase, and you don't have to put a bunch of money into it to get going. On the flip side, I would say that real estate has the opportunity to make more money because there's not margins in real estate, but the margins in drop shipping are low. It's a volume game. I found you want to sell a lot to earn a lot of money at the end of the day. And in real estate, your large chunk of money has a higher opportunity to multiply and become bigger, but it's kind of one of those risk reward scenarios for me. Like if you put a lot of money in real estate, you could lose a lot of money, but you could make a lot of money. In e-commerce,
Correct.
drop shipping specifically, you don't have to put a lot of money in, and you can start earning money right away. And then it's just a matter of how high can you scale it. And so with Prospera, we'll see how high we can go. Right, the sky's the limit here.
To the moon, as the crypto people say. Um, I was thinking, well, I'll save that to the last.
Okay.
But what are you most excited for? What do you see in the next few months in this business?
So I'm very excited. I was talking with my partner Julian here the other day about some real numbers here, right? What's the reality of one of my stores here selling $1 million in revenue in a year or $800,000 in revenue? And at the end of the day, that's money that I am not working for, right? The team is doing the work and we split the profits, but I don't have to work for that. And that could literally become a new car for our family at the end of this year. And then as
Mhm.
that business continues year over year, I could take that money and make car payments with it. I can take that money and go on a huge vacation with it. So it's money that I'm already living my life currently, we're paying our bills, buying our food, buying our groceries. By adding this income stream, it's almost like, hey, here's a free opportunity to add something to your life that you didn't have before. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. It's seeing how big we can grow my business, how much we can grow in sales. I think the margins will stay about the same. So then it's just a matter of if we could sell more, we'll earn more. And the more we
It's
can earn,
volume.
the more we can add on to our lifestyle here for my family.
So there you go. That's how you see it impacting your life. More memories, more time with the family. Well, not just time, but experiences with the family.
Absolutely. I
It's
think
extra
in my
money to be
head,
used.
yeah, I think in my head, we'll see, how big it gets, but it's like I don't want to I want to take this business and I don't need to like change my current personal life. I don't need to add extra bills in my life and like
Mm-hmm.
level up my lifestyle where my life is now more expensive. I'd rather take the money from our e-commerce business and just create bonuses in my current life that I didn't have
Exactly.
before, or I might feel bad going out and buying because it's like, ooh, that's stretching our finances. Well, here's some extra money now that you can count on every month, and it doesn't. The risk is very low for me, right? I don't have to outlay cash to try and get it. Where most it flies in the face of most investments, where you're like, well, you have to put money in and play the game, and you can lose it or win it, and then it comes back with more. With Prospera and our dropshipping company, I don't have to put money out every time we make a sale. It's like the money is guaranteed as soon as the sale happens. So that is a very unique, very incredible aspect of dropshipping. That's what appeals to me and what drew me into it in the first place.
Unique way of doing business. Yeah, of making money. Okay, well, maybe last question. For someone still thinking, hesitant, still on the fence, what would you say to them of joining
Yeah,
and being
if
a
you're
part of
still
what
on the
we're doing?
fence, yeah, if you are still on the fence about jumping into a partnership with Prospera and jumping into e-commerce, I would say ask more questions, get to know how the business model works. And I would say don't be surprised when it's simpler than you think, because I think when we think of business, we think that they're supposed to be really complicated, but dropshipping is such a simple business model that it almost seems criminal, right? Like I can really make money this way. Like this actually puts money in my checking account, and it does. And you're like, wow, that was it. Okay, let's keep doing that again tomorrow. Cool, let's keep going. Like that's all it is. So I would say if you're on the fence, ask some questions, get to know how the business model works, ask all your detail questions, and Julian and his team will be happy to answer them. I've found. Um, I feel like I know how the business is running. I know where the money is going. I know where we're selling. I know what products we're selling, and they're very transparent. Nothing has been cagey or oh, we don't talk about that with you. Like, we're a partnership. We go and we're running a business together. So
Yeah,
that's
and
my
furthermore,
suggestion.
yeah, and furthermore, I'll add, it's all your business. It is your business name and store, selling in this marketplace. It's your money that goes into your bank account. So it's all in your control. Other thing to mention is we're leveraging credit. So we were talking about the money not being used, not having to outlay large sums of cash. We're just leveraging credit cards that you get to keep miles, points, cash back on as an extra addition to it. And the marketplace pays, you pay the cards, and keep a spread. So it's also like a fun game. That's how I initially started this 5 years ago, because it was just, hey, I just put up this and boom, we'll make a spread. And it just kind of grew into what it is now for on my side. So
Right. And I don't think everybody gets that. And part of me feels like, man, I hope it stays quiet so that you and I can just go and dominate everything. But I think people should know, I think people should know about this business model. But you do have to have, it takes a lot of work. Like, the back
it's
end
a
of
lot
a
in the back end.
business is a lot of work, and it's a lot of grunt
Yeah.
work, and it's a lot of detail work, and it's a lot of finding relationships and building those teams. That's what Julian has done for me, to be honest. I don't have to do any of that stuff. And I know how that works because in my multifamily business, investors come to me and they trust that I'm going to go and buy a property with their money and we'll partner up. It's the same thing in this e-commerce space, and having a partner is everything. So yeah, if you're looking into it and you're looking for a good partner, ask Julian all your questions, and maybe there's something you don't understand about it, but once you understand it, I think it's worth the leap and it's worth the jumping into the business, because it does start relatively quickly. I found. I mean, I started my LLC, and within 3 months we had our first sale. I mean, what other business? And we're net positive. You know what I mean? Net positive from the first sale. So, what other business do you have where in 3 months you're already up and running and off to the races and going? So I think that was extremely fast. And to me, the first sale is everything. Like, is this business actually going to work? Because if you can get
Proof
one
of
sale, you can
concept,
get
showing
10.
profit coupons. Yeah, exactly.
If you can get 10 sales, you can get 100. If you can get 100, you can get 1,000, and just go up from there. So that's what I'm looking forward
Correct.
to.
Awesome. And that's what I try to always set clear expectations. I'm not, you know, telling anybody that this will make you billions. We're not going to make here, um, you know, leave your job career. You can burn the boats. This is it. I would never tell that to anybody. I wouldn't want to do that. So, but it's an extra source of income in addition to anybody's lifestyle, um, and a fun way to leverage credit. You know,
I mean, think about this. Yeah, you're not going to get maybe rich. I think if you're in any business and you're a passive investor of some sort, it's very hard for you to get rich unless you're the one with the reins, and that's any business. So think of an e-commerce business like this. If you added $25,000 to your income that year from e-commerce that you're doing zero work for, that's a little over $2,000 a month. What car payment could you have for $2,000 a month? It's a pretty nice car
nice
you can
car.
have that
Yeah.
you're not driving now. So by having this
Yeah.
income stream and waiting for it to get up and running, you can go and drive, a new BMW, low end Maserati. Like, all these are options now that they weren't before. So that's on
Yeah,
the
there you
table.
go. I'm not into cars, so I hadn't even thought of it that way. But yes, absolutely,
You
absolutely.
could go use it as a down payment on another property, right? If you wait to the end of each year and you put 25 grand, you could go buy a property in Tennessee, right? And add income property every year if you wanted to.
Liquidity for new investments.
There you go.
That's where my mind usually goes. Or, a weekend cruise trip with the family, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're
Yeah.
looking to build here. Chris, don't want to take more of your time. You're a busy man with a big portfolio to manage behind you. So thank you again for the time. Thank you for the trust. And let's prosper together.
Absolutely. Thank you, Julian.
Thank you. Take care.